Yeah, I got you.
Streaming is now. We're starting in 5 seconds.
Sick.
Good catch.
I'm just changing my microphone cover
Get ready.
to Haden's because that one's like covered in fuzz.
Bro, we're going.
This is WXJM 88.7 on your FM dial. I am your host, Peter Kedwin, joined by my 3 friends and co-hosts.
Caleb.
Carney.
Jeremy Lapidus.
Shane Brisland.
This is the Triple Threat Show.
That's not the triple threat.
No, you did not.
Ah.
Welcome into it. We had
Me.
Peter say hi at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed that. We are, as he didn't say, the Triple Threat Show. We are live on WXJM or WXJM.org. Also live streaming on YouTube at the Triple Threat Show. You can check us out there. You can check us out on Twitter at 3Threat Show. You can check us out on Instagram at the Triple Threat Show. And you can check us out on, I already said YouTube, but you can check us out there.
Do it anyways.
Because it's live and no one's here and I want to come chat to everyone that's listening on the radio.
Yeah, you can make fun of our horrible sports takes and tell us how wrong we are.
Anyway,
Oh, they're fantastic.
No, you guys should just agree with me every single time.
we have
Where's Farmer Peter?
I told you, I just like comfort.
He retired.
He retired.
Got into a tractor accident.
Oh.
R.I.P.
Oh, he's dead?
Well, then he rose again on the 3rd day.
oh,
Oh, I'm Jesus. I'm Jesus. Okay.
Oh, man. Peter is the next bringing of Christ. Okay.
we have a lot
No, Peter didn't
to
rise from the dead.
we have a lot to get through today. So
Roman
we're
Paulson.
gonna keep
Wait,
the introduction short, but I do want to see how you guys are doing. We have a lot. NBA playoffs are coming, so we're gonna talk about that. Predictions. It's very exciting. The first round of play-in games already happened. Masters. We're gonna break that down. NHL season is wrapping up. They, I believe, are 1 or 2 games left with playoff implications, and then the playoffs start. There's just a lot talking. Odell got signed. There's a lot of things going on this week. I'm so excited. There's always baseball going on.
NASCAR suspension.
NASCAR happens. Anyway, before we get into all of that, I'm really excited too. How are you doing, Shane?
Doing good. It's the weather's been absolutely lovely this week. I'm just having a really good week so far.
Good, good. Love to hear it. What about you, Peter? How you feeling?
Huh?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine.
He's doing good. Exciting. What about Caleb? What's up with you?
Doing all right. Staying busy as always.
Good.
Went out to my site today for my senior capstone,
Yeah?
and my feet are a little wet, but that's just how it goes when you're working in a literal river. So,
We love that. We love that so much.
how are you doing?
Me? I'm doing great. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited for the show in like a really long
You
time.
sound excited.
I'm actually
We were
really
in that
excited.
There's actually
we were in
stuff to
that
talk
weird
about.
Pit of like
Yeah.
the past 2 weeks was that weird pit of like not too much happening, and now we're like, all right, we got things to talk about.
Yeah.
now.
So we're gonna get into it, starting with the NBA predictions. We've had 2 play-in games happen already. We saw the Hawks absolutely dismantle the Heat in a game that final score made it look a lot closer than it was.
Mhm.
They stopped playing.
Yeah.
The left bench found the court. And let me tell you what, left bench is staying on left bench in the next game.
And then the Lakers beat the Timberwolves in what was a really fun game to watch. It was an ugly game, but it was a fun game. It was a fun game. So those are the 2 games that we get out of the way. But now we have the rest of the play-ins to predict and the rest of the playoffs. So we're gonna start with the games tonight, the 9-10 matchups. Who do you guys have in Bulls versus Raptors?
Shane?
I have Toronto winning this one. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't know anything about basketball. I'm just going over favoritism of the city. So, of course, I'm going to root for Toronto. And, Raptors are more fun than Bulls.
What do you have against Chicago?
Well, so as a Minnesota fan, I tend to not like Chicago teams, especially if you're... I know it's not the same organization, but, my nickname for the Chicago Blackhawks and how much I hate that organization. I'm not going to get into it, but just absolute hatred for the Chicago Blackhawks, and so, therefore, a lot of hatred towards the other Chicago teams because they tend to be rivals, so... And plus, Toronto's a fun city. I like that city. The only Canadian NBA team, so I'm just rooting for them.
All right. What about you guys? What do you guys have for?
Me or you?
Doesn't
You
matter.
go for it.
First off, I wanted to just quickly say to Shaquille O'Neal should have taken the bet against Charles Barkley. For those who don't know, Charles Barkley, before the Hawks and Heat games, that he would bet Shaq $1 billion that the Heat were going to defeat the Hawks. That clearly did not happen. So, Shaq, you may be a billionaire if Charles had that. But
I thought the Heat won.
No,
No,
he
Hawks
lost.
won.
They got
Okay.
demolished.
Dismantled.
yeah,
destroyed.
Hawks destroyed him.
All right. I thought you said the Heat won. Might
Nah.
have misheard that.
No.
No.
No. Gladly Atlanta beat them.
Yeah.
Go Atlanta. Don't hate on my Atlanta teams.
So I would say, truthfully, I do not know the lineup very much of either the Raptors or the Bulls. They're not two teams that I follow. From what I do know about them, I'll give it to the Bulls.
The Raptors have a lot of size. The Bulls have a lot of skill, but they're injured right now. They're really injured.
And that's why I want to say Raptors have like the slightest.
Right.
Like a very slimmer of hope.
Yeah, I'm also going to
It's the
lean
injuries.
towards the Raptors because
But
of
it's going to be a close game.
aforementioned injuries, but I could really see this going either way. Of course, this is just to face the Heat. And in that case, Heat versus either of these teams, do either of these teams have a chance versus
No.
the Heat?
No.
Also, the spread of this game is favored by Raptors by 6. So,
Close game.
Close game.
yeah, they're expecting a close one.
Do either of these teams have a chance versus the Heat, Peter, you think?
The Heat?
Yeah.
Well, the Heat aren't in contention.
The Heat will play the winner of this game.
Oh, right, because
The
they're,
play-in.
they're
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the playing teams.
I forgot. Well, no, I forgot
think
that
only 2 teams don't make it or something.
Yeah, so it's 7-8 matchup, 9-10 matchup. Winner of 7-8 plays the 2 seed.
Yeah.
And then the winner of the 9-10 plays the loser of 7-8, and the winner of that game plays the 1 seed.
Yeah.
If that made any sense.
So no, I forgot that it's essentially essentially what would have been the 7 seed. Those matchups, whoever loses that gets a second chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a little redemption.
Yeah, it's a double elimination for them.
But I think that no,
No?
I think that the Heat. The Heat have incredible players on their team. They have a young star. Well, let's be honest, young role player in Tyler Hero.
He's a great sixth man.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
He's a great up and I'm gonna say that he's gonna have a Trevor Ariza type year. I mean career.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
I think that's what his career will be.
I love Trevor Ariza.
He's awesome. He's one of the best role players of all time, but he's a role player. But with players like Jimmy Butler on the Heat's team, I don't think they can get over the Heat.
Right. I'm on a similar page as you, Peter. I think the Heat are just filled with talent. Jimmy Butler didn't have his greatest game. He had a pretty good game, but
I
you
think
know,
it was shock. I think it was genuine. I mean, that's
I didn't think Atlanta was going to come out like that.
yeah, me neither.
I think it was shock. I think that they just had a really bad game plan going into the game, and Atlanta just shocked them. And anyone who's ever played basketball before knows when you have a game plan and you've practiced everything and you run down the plays and then nothing's working, it is so hard to come back after. So it clearly has happened, but it's so hard to come back, and I think that's what happened. I genuinely think that in 9 times out of 10, I think that the Heat beat the Hawks.
Yeah, and I think they're a better team than the Hawks, and Jimmy Butler is usually special in the playoffs. You know,
Yep.
he usually flips that gear. So I think either of these teams in this 9-10 game, they're not going to make it past the Heat. Either way.
Nope.
We'll finish up the plans out in the West. Excuse me, where'd my phone go?
Well, Lakers won.
The Lakers won, yes.
Yes.
So that means
Should be Pelicans, OKC.
Pelicans Thunder, and then the winner of that plays the Timberwolves. That's going to be a little more interesting. Out in the West, I could honestly see either of those teams beating the Timberwolves. It does depend.
I think Thunder.
You like the Thunder?
I
I think-
really like the Thunder.
Here's the weird part. I think that the Pelicans can beat the Thunder, but then they would lose to Timberwolves. But I think the Thunder have less of a chance to beat the Pelicans, but then could beat the Timberwolves.
Yeah, because those teams just match up differently with each
Yeah,
other. I
I feel
completely
like-
agree with you.
I feel like the Pelicans could find a way to lose to Timber, and then I think Thunder could find a way to beat them. But then the issue is just the Thunder getting past the Pelicans.
Thunder, I mark my words right now, they need one big piece, as in like one veteran piece, and the Thunder are going to go to the championship in the next 5 years.
And they're getting Chet. They're getting Chet back next season,
Yeah,
and then they have they have a bevy of draft picks too.
yeah, I mean, they just need
Yeah.
one. They need either one like star veteran piece, or they need two more really good young players, and those guys are going to the finals. I mean, it's the talent on that team. You have not seen talent on that team since Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and
James
James
Harden.
Harden were all on, and Serge Ibaka were all on the same team. In the
God,
Thunder.
that Thunder team was so good.
Yeah, and the funniest part is Kevin still says that he played with no one. Then it's like he played.
Did
with
he
two
really
other-
say that?
He says he was
He
like,
says all the time he had never had help.
yeah, he
When?
never had help.
When
It's
did
like
he
you
say
had
that?
2 future MVPs on your team. In fairness, James Harden wasn't the James Harden of the Rockets,
Right, but James
Right.
Harden was still really good.
and Serge Ibaka, the best time of his career was when he was playing with Kevin Durant on the Thunder.
Yeah.
So it's nonsense. But
Prime Russ.
no, Prime Russ was after everyone left.
You got any takes over there, Shane?
I don't know that much about basketball.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's completely
You're
fair.
the hockey guy. You know
All
the
I'm
most
doing
about
is
hockey.
just I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. Go Minnesota teams.
Fair.
Yeah, so coming out of the play-ins in the West from what's left, I think it'll probably be the... Honestly, I like the Pelicans roster a lot. I know they don't have Zion,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they
right
haven't
now.
all season.
Zion, just always assume that Zion is
Yeah.
hurt.
Gotcha.
Unless we come in with a shocked voice and say, Zion
playing?
scored
Yeah.
40 points, that is the only time you should assume that guy's not
Until
hurt.
you see a report that says he's playing, just assume he's not.
It's more shocking to hear he's healthy than he is.
Yeah, at
Because
this
he
point.
just doesn't care about his, like, a plain dwarf body. You know, it's just a fact.
Yeah. So I really like that. I know they don't have Zion, but they still have McCollum and Ingram, and
And those guys are so talented, and I just give it to them. Like Ingram, you can't argue. Brandon Ingram is unbelievably talented.
right. CJ
But the
McCollum's got a real nice shot. He's pretty solid. He's really good.
He's really hot and cold, though.
I know, but like when he's
really hot
when
and
he's
cold.
on, he's like Damian Lillard basically.
Well, when J.R. Smith is on, he's the greatest shooter of all time. But
Yeah,
when
all you need it's a single elimination game. You know, that's what it is.
there was not a better shooter of
You know what,
all
you're-
time than
you're right.
J.R. Smith when he's hot.
You're
Like,
right.
there's
You know,
no
you're
better
not
one.
wrong.
The dude will make like a sky hook from half court when he's on fire, like it's nothing. And then for 81 other games, he misses wide open shots. That's why he's not in the league anymore.
Oh well, I really like this Pelicans team. I have them winning that play-in side.
Yeah, and I could 100% see it. All I'm saying is watch out for the Thunder. They're gonna.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Thunder are a year away. Honestly.
I don't think they're a year. I think 2 to 3 years. That's why I said in 5 years I think they'll make it to finals. So.
Do you want to start in the West or the East, Caleb?
Start with the... Oh, sorry, I'm not Caleb.
No, well, let's change it.
Shane, West or
Hey, do
East?
your best
East.
Caleb voice.
Yeah, I want to hear this actually.
I don't know.
Do you need me to keep talking so you can hear my voice?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Caleb Carney. No.
That's a little high.
It's a little high.
Because it's just...
You guys sound pretty similar.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the issue to begin with. Is we
Yeah.
sound very close.
Because I was trying to like gauge, I'm like, all right, how much higher or lower is my voice? And I'm like, it's kind of hard to tell because I feel like we're in the same like tone. So
It's very similar.
It's
Yeah.
a very monotone. Very.
yeah,
I
very
think Shane, you might
monotonous.
have like a half note down on him.
Oh no, Shane's voice is like a half an octave down. But
Yeah.
Caleb.
What?
Dude, an octave is a lot, man. I think you're overestimating.
No, it's literally
a quarter octave.
It's pretty close.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's not important. Shane, West or East?
East.
East. All right. Starting off, the Milwaukee Bucks playing against the winner of the play-in, who we have all decided is the Heat. I don't think it matters who is coming out of that play-in spot.
They are not.
The Bucks have Giannis, and they're going to sweep them.
Yeah, I have Milwaukee in 4 too.
No.
No?
I think Milwaukee will win. It will not be 4 though. I think it will be 6.
The Heat do match up well with Milwaukee a lot, don't they?
They do. They
I
match
give them
up
5.
really well.
I give Milwaukee a 5.
What I think is going to happen.
Wow, shocker! We all chose the 1 seed.
Whoa.
What I think is going to happen is I think that Giannis will get injured game 1 or game 2, and then come back after they go. They tie the series up,
Mm.
and then they'll sweep the rest.
All right.
That's fair. I said Milwaukee in 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like it can be like a first game shocker, like Atlanta did to
Mhm.
the poor Heat. I mean, like, I feel like if the Heat come out strong, you can really stun a team, and then like the following game, you just show up and steamroll them, and then you get 4. So.
We'll see. That Heat team does match up pretty well with the Bucks, at least in years past.
Yeah.
And it's a very similar roster for both of these sides.
Yeah.
So I could see him taking a game, but I don't think the Heat are the same as they were years past.
Oh, they're definitely not, but the Bucks definitely aren't either. And I think that teams are more and more growing to see that there are a lot of ways to stop Giannis. And Giannis isn't the unstoppable force that he was a few years ago. And it's not because he's declined, it's because teams have been working so hard to stop him. And so, yeah, I think that it's going to be a lot closer than people are expecting. I still expect the Bucks to come out on top, but I think it's going to be a lot closer.
We'll move 4-5.
Oh, you're
Cleveland.
skipping 2?
We're just going to go down the bracket.
Okay.
4-5. Cleveland, New York. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on this one. I think this is a real tight series.
New York.
Yeah?
New York in 6.
I was gonna say Cleveland in 6.
I have Cleveland in 6.
I've got Cleveland in 7.
That's also a very fair take.
But these teams are both pretty good, honestly. I just think Cleveland has the star power that's going to get them past New York.
I think that people put a lot of pressure on. I'm not pressure, but they give a lot to a player like Donovan Mitchell, who has never proved himself in the playoffs.
I love Donovan Mitchell so much. Like, I just, for whatever reason, I just like the way he plays. I know he doesn't play defense, and that's important, but
Fair.
I love watching him play, and I think that team is filled with guys that, I mean, it's not just him. It's when he was in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
it was Gobert and Mitchell, and that was it, right?
No,
Basically,
I mean they had some help.
they had some role players.
Yeah.
They had some solid role players, but in Cleveland, you have Jarrett Allen down low. You have who's can.
But do you think Jared Allen can stop Julius Randle?
Yes,
Do you actually?
yes,
I don't. I don't think that he can. I think he's too small.
really,
Yeah, I think Julius Randle is way too strong for Jared Allen.
maybe. I don't know. You got Darius Garland out there too, and
I don't like Julius Randle.
really, why not?
I think that he's a very inaccurate shooter. It's one of those again. When he's on, woo, but when he's not a shot. So, I think that the Knicks can beat them, and I think they can steal it in 6.
All right. Moving on down, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, 3-6.
I think that this is the most obvious one.
It's not going to be very close, probably. Philadelphia swept their regular season series with Brooklyn for the first time since like 2015 or something like that. And now they're playing them in the playoffs. This is, obviously a much more talent depleted Brooklyn team than when they started the year.
Yeah.
So, all that being said, Joel Embiid and the Sixers are going to probably sweep them.
It's going to be
maybe 5 games.
No, it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be such an easy sweep, in fact, that it's going to make Cam want to leave the Nets immediately. I mean, you guys got to realize is that Joel Embiid is essentially Shaq, Hakeem, and someone who's actually good at shooting threes, all combined this season, and is the most dominant player in the NBA right now. Plain and simple. And the Nets do not have anyone that can stop him. And if they do, they'll just swing it out to James Harden, who will then find someone who's leading the league in assists. So it's not going to be close. It's going to be sweet.
I mean, you pretty much just nailed it. I was going to make a joke here. I was like, this could be a really good time to say, like, give me Brooklyn in 4. But then, like, you guys didn't get to me before the breakdown, and I was like, I can't make a joke. I was like, this is not the time to joke about it. So I really, like, in my head, I was like, I could make a joke and be like, oh, yeah, give me Brooklyn in, like, 4, or, like, Brooklyn in 7. And then, like, you guys were just, like, pretty clear on the breakdown. And I was like, yeah, you can't even...
Shane,
you can't even justify anything longer than a 5-game series.
Shane, do you have some advanced stats pulled up right now?
Yeah, I was just kind of like trying to remember who was on Brooklyn and who was on Philadelphia.
You had some crazy spider chart going on.
Yeah. And then it was just like Brooklyn still has like Kevin Durant as like their highest points per game player.
Well,
Really?
don't know how to break.
And I'm like, I'm like, Kevin Durant was traded though.
What website are you on?
It's the NBA.com.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fix
We
it.
could have done a
And like,
skip
wasn't
ALS and just
Harding on Brooklyn
Yep.
last season?
Last season. He got
I'm
traded to
just
the
like,
Sixers,
I'm
yeah.
just like, wow, so much has happened.
So
this
much
year.
has happened
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
you know, and another reason why James is going to want to destroy the Nets because
I don't think he's that mad at the Nets. I don't think there's anyone on that team for him to be mad at
I
still.
thought he just doesn't care about anything.
he's mad at the management, honestly,
Oh, yeah.
because the management was the one who messed him up the most. So, okay, moving on. Though.
Yeah.
Celtics Hawks.
Celtics Hawks. Final thing of the first round.
Bring out the broomsticks.
Yeah.
Celtics are very good. The Celtics are much better than the Hawks. The Hawks are worse than the Heat. And
You may be able to shock the Celtics once, but you're not shocking them again. Most 5 games. And
If it's 5 games, the Celtics, you done messed up.
yeah, but I mean, literally, the only way it goes past 5 games is that the Celtics underestimated the Hawks so much that they benched their players, and they had their B team come out.
or if Trae Young decides, I'll
He's
just
done.
put 50 up a night, which he has the ability to do.
Marcus Smart is going to shut that down.
Oh, I know he will.
Marcus Smart is going to make sure that guy does not move. So, and if he starts moving, he's going to injure him. So, I mean, because that's how players like him and Patrick Beverly play.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Ethical
So
business practices right there.
it's just how they play. They play a very physical game. Do they purposely try and injure people? Of course not. They're not going to say that. But they play extremely physical.
It
for
just
today's
tends to
game of
happen
basketball.
that they injure players.
right
It
on
just tends to
accident.
happen that Russell Westbrook's streak of playing and was known as the Iron Man went to a head when Patrick Beverly speared his entire body into his knee.
Yeah. I missed him on the Timberwolves. He's a fun player to watch.
Anyway,
We'll move on to the West, and then we'll get our finals predictions, and then we'll wait till the second round to do more predictions.
Okay.
gotcha.
West, start number 1, the Denvers, the Nuggets,
None of those teams are beating Denver.
playing against
Yeah.
I don't care
one of 3
who
teams.
they play. None of them are beating Denver.
Not a
Not a chance.
shot in any expletive that I cannot say on this show. Like, I mean, there is not a shot in the world that any of those teams even come close to beating the Nuggets. No.
No, he's got a point.
You're right.
If they get to a game 5, Denver has messed up.
Yeah.
They've gone wrong. Something is wrong. If
John
they get-
Morant showed up with his friends and messed something up. That's the only logical
John
way.
Morant.
John Morant's friends start showing up at courtside and start like waving flashlights at people.
But yeah, Denver. It's definitely gonna win
four.
this. Denver and 4.
Four.
Denver and 2.
They give up.
They're just gonna be like, whatever.
Stop, please. The massacre, no more.
NBA, we would like to resign our team. We are no longer a part of the NBA. Please bring up one of the G League teams.
All right, I'm gonna skip over the middle 2 matchups because I think they're really interesting. But
Skip over.
yeah, we're gonna go to Memphis, LA, 2-7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it a different way this time because I want to talk more about the other ones. Anyway, 2-7. Memphis, LA. John Morant, back. LeBron, here. What do you think?
Memphis and 5.
I got Memphis in 5. It's just like, number one, the Memphis team is really talented, and I just don't want to hear about LeBron if he makes a run.
Memphis is pretty hurt right now, is the only thing that's giving me
Yeah.
pause. Steven Adams is out. Someone else, I forget who. It was one of their people
LA
that plays defense pretty
LA
well.
has not looked
Uh,
great.
Miles
by-
Brooks.
Yes, that's the one. He's also out.
They're
My
the
only
player.
issue is just LA has not looked great.
Yeah, but
They've
you
looked-
also have to remember that everybody hates Dylan Brooks so much that they're going to play better.
Yeah,
I
Brooks
still
is
see Memphis in like 5 or 6.
Dylan Brooks is a very dirty player. Which is why I think Memphis will win in 6. Because I think with 2 major key points of the Lakers are of course LeBron and Anthony Davis, both of which are very injury prone. They're going up against a team that is known to be dirty. So what are they going to do? They're going to target LeBron's foot. They're going to target Anthony Davis's knee or ankle. I mean, that is just what they're going to do. So you're going to see one of them get injured. Unfortunately. But that's just how it's going to go down. And let's be honest. If one of those players go down, Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell can't beat, and LeBron and D'Angelo Russell can't beat them.
No.
Even with Austin Reeves.
I mean, it's the Dennis Schroeder show.
Ah, yes, Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Completely forgot he was on the team.
Oh, you just hit the biggest shot of the season for them. And then Anthony Davis almost messed it up.
I know. Still forget he's on the team.
Yikes.
Just because he fumbled such a big bag.
He did. Oh my God.
That
He's
it was like
so
he's just been erased from my memory.
dumb. So dumb.
Listen, I don't need to be smart.
Dude, this man was offered like $70 million
It was like-
to stay with the
It
Lakers,
was
and he
like
said
70 or
no.
80 million, and then he's like, no, I can get something more somewhere else. Got nothing anywhere, and now has $1 million contract.
Yeah, this man lost out on like $70 million a year.
And remember, this is NBA.
Yeah.
Everything is guaranteed.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not like football. We're like, oh, he got injured. He's not getting paid. No, he gets paid to sit at home. So,
Anyway,
moving on.
what did you have winning?
I told you Memphis is 6.
You did say that.
Jeremy?
Did you say something?
Yeah, I said Memphis in 5.
Shane, did you say something?
Yeah, I agreed with Caleb.
All right, I have Memphis in 6 also.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Kings versus Warriors.
Ooh.
I'm very, very, very curious about this series and what you guys think.
I'm sorry, but the beam is not going to be lit after that one. I got Warriors in 7.
Okay?
It's gonna be a dogfight, but I could see Warriors taking it in 7.
I have already said on this show who I think will win the entire NBA championship.
Yeah, but
It's
has
the
that
Warriors.
opinion changed?
Not even remotely.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I think that the Warriors are going to win. I think Warriors in 7 is a good shout, but I'm gonna.
That Kings team has looked so good.
I know. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say Warriors in 5.
Wow.
Look, all I'm going to say is the Kings, they haven't lost a playoff game since 2006.
Wow. they also haven't been since 2006.
But we don't talk about that.
Yikes.
No, I really like this Kings team.
Well, good job, Kings. For the first
Yeah.
time you've been back since 2006, you're a third seed.
Yeah.
Good job,
It's,
guys.
it's really, it's
honestly.
really good. It's
To
really.
reward you, you're going against the defending champions. and
with
Golden
an
State
almost
Warriors.
completely healthy Golden State Warriors
Yeah.
team.
No, finally, completely healthy.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like that Warriors team, I didn't think they'd make it in time. I
I
did
didn't
not.
either.
I was like, they're not going to be healthy in time. It's just not going to be.
I think.
I think they're going to start really rusty. I think it's going to get off to like a 2-0 start, and then they'll claw their way back.
I mean, Anthony Wiggins is even supposed to be back by then.
I think the Kings are going to win this series.
How many games?
Wow.
It's going to be 7.
Yeah, I could. It's got to be a 7-series game.
But the Warriors have been so bad on the road this season, and I think that's going to be their downfall. Because the Kings have home court advantage, they have to play 4 games up in Sacramento. And even if they steal one, I think the Kings might be able to steal one in Golden State.
Okay.
And I think that's the main reason. If it was a home series for Golden State, I think they win it.
You
But
have
since
to
it's up in Sacramento,
you have to realize it essentially is a home series.
it's not though.
It is. It's Sacramento.
I know they're like
compared
30
to
minutes
San
apart.
Francisco. There's going to be more Warriors fans at the Kings.
I
game
really
than
don't
there
think
is.
so.
I genuinely do. You have to realize is that, once again, the Warriors fans are bandwagon fans. And up until this playoff series, their entire team was hurt. Now, all of a sudden, everyone is healthy, right at the perfect time. They are going to show up for this first round like there's no tomorrow. And if they're down 3-0 by the third game, then they're all going to be gone. And it's going to be Kings everywhere. But the fact of the matter is that there is not a team in the NBA that can beat a Warriors healthy team.
Here's my take on it. I think whoever wins this first game, technically, in a sense, has home court advantage for the rest of the time.
That's not true.
No, that's true.
Technically,
If the Warriors steal one, then
Warriors
they have home.
bandwagon
Then
fans hear that they have just beat them, it's going to be home game every single time for the Warriors fans. There are more. I'm willing to say there are more Warriors fans than there are Kings fans, and then there's a ton more bandwagon fans.
I think you're underestimating the amount of Beam fans there are out there.
No, don't get me wrong. I like the Beam. I think it's fun, but like,
I think you're severely underestimating the amount of fans that Beam brought in. Quite honestly.
I think you're severely underestimating how many fans the Warriors have.
Oh, I definitely am. But
bandwagon.
I can't look at that
I've
Warriors.
never seen anybody root for the Carolina Panthers except for 2016.
Yeah.
Everyone bandwagons.
I love the Panthers.
I've never seen anyone cheer for them.
And it's just like, it's the veteran
Shout out to
team,
Samantha.
too.
She roots for the Panthers?
Yeah.
That's her favorite team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she even has Panthers merch.
Oh, that's awesome.
The year that she became a Panthers fan was the first year she ever watched football. And it just so happened that was the year that they went to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And so she started on such a high, and it's just been downhill ever since. And she's like, but I can't leave.
Good news for me is I started rooting for the Browns, and they were 3-13, 1-15, 0-16, 2-14, 3-13, and then Baker Mayfield was like, "Actually, guys, we're gonna have a winning record here, 9-7." And I was like, "Whoa!" And I had 1 year where I was like, "Yes, yes, yes," and then I was just sad. And then we got Deshaun Watson, and I don't want to root for him anymore. Woo!
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just can't look at that Warriors away record, and I know it's close, and I know what you're saying is valid, but I can't look at that Warriors road record and say that they're going to be able to take.
How
But
many
Jeremy,
games
though,
on the road
it's
have
playoffs.
they been?
I don't care.
It's playoffs is a different
What?
beast.
How many games on the road have they been healthy?
Very few.
How many games at home have they been healthy? Also very few. They have a much better home record than an away
But
record. It
this
doesn't.
is the playoffs.
you can
No,
say-
you just proved why, like, everyone who's saying Warriors is right. You are saying...
They did good at home without all of their stars, and now they have all of their stars, and now they're gonna play. Like,
yeah, I mean...
you just kind of put everything into place of why you should be saying this is a Warriors
Nope.
series.
Nope.
The Splash Brothers
He
are
just-
going to prove once again why
He
when they
proves
are
himself
healthy.
wrong, and then goes, "I am on this hill. I am dying on this."
Yeah.
hill."
Yes, I
Jeremy gets
really think
cornered on a hill, and he just stands
Yeah.
on it until he dies.
I
Like,
really think the Kings are going to win this
Oh.
series. This isn't me trying to have a hot take. I truly believe the Kings are going to win this series.
And I completely commend you for that. And I think that if the Warriors go out there and they get injured like they have this season, and they get injured, then I completely agree with you. The Kings are going to win.
I think whoever is wrong on this, we have to go back to Buffalo Wild Wings. Hottest wings again. And you have to eat all of them.
I did. I ended up eating.
No,
them.
like while we're there.
Okay.
Like,
I ate them the night of, so it
Yeah.
kind of counted. But
Yeah. I think that's the bet that needs to be placed here. is-
Sure.
Fine.
I'm completely fine
All right,
with that.
yeah.
All
And
right. If the Kings win,
I
Peter?
just want to establish this right now. If the Kings win or the Warriors win, and it does not matter of injury. Like, you can't be like, oh,
yeah,
well,
no, I agree. Yeah,
Bean got hurt.
I
so-
agree.
all right. Well, if the Kings win, we will see Peter at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
And if the Warriors win, we will have a lovely Jeremy.
I'm completely fine with that.
I am also completely fine with this.
So,
This is going to be a fun postseason.
I'm glad I don't have a stake in this.
Shane,
I
who do you
should-
think's going to win the series?
Golden
I should
State.
probably have a stake in this as well.
You had Golden
have-
State.
I have Golden State in 7. Again, I don't know too much about the Sacramento
Kings.
Kings.
where is it here?
If
I'm
I-
sure it's somewhere.
If
Yeah.
I talk, it sounds like you. It's okay. I can finish your sentences and you don't have to repeat.
Yeah.
Because then they know it's me.
And it's just, the defending champs, they're all veterans. They've all done this before. The Sacramento hasn't made it in forever, so it's kind of like...
That's another reason in my head.
So it's like the vets versus the new team, so it's...
Team
I'm
that's
gonna go with
never
the
played in the
Vets.
playoffs. Well, they played in 2006. Or the team who has won 5 championships in the past 12 years or something.
I stand by it. Anyway,
Fair enough.
All right, fair enough.
moving on. Final series of the first round. We have the Clippers, versus the Suns.
Clippers.
Who do you guys have in this series?
Shane,
I have the Clippers in 7.
interesting. I feel like this one's pretty close.
I agree. This one's really close, especially since there's reports that Paul George is coming back semi soon. He's on the road to recovery. How well is he going to do?
Who knows?
Who knows?
How rusty is he?
Yeah, how
Because
rusty
if he comes
is
out
he?
swinging,
Oh, then I got Clippers then. But
Yeah. We gotta assume he looks like every average person coming back from injury.
so I'm just going to assume, based on pure, I mean, let's just have this be said right here. There will be no defense played in this entire 7-game series.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, it's
It's just going to be whoever
none.
shoots the best that
gonna-
night.
There honestly may be a game where it's like 180 to 171. like I'm fully expecting all-star numbers. For
Neither
point
of these
totals.
teams have great defense, by the way, Shane.
All I know is
They their offenses both look really good,
Yeah.
and they score a lot,
If
but they just don't play.
memory serves me correctly, Kevin Durant got traded to Phoenix, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
you nailed it.
And then Kawhi Leonard's still in the Clippers.
Yes, he is.
And I'm like, all right, 2 star players going head to head.
Well, I mean, the Suns have Kevin Durant, they have Devin Booker, they have
Chris Paul,
they have
DeAndre
Ayton, and then
Is
they
Chris
have
Paul old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
I was gonna say,
so
I feel
old.
like he's really
He's like
old by
38 or something like
I
that.
think he's reaching the 40 mark. He's old for
He's
And
old.
let me tell you what, he is no LeBron.
yeah.
No, I mean,
his
do
numbers
you
have
remember
seen
last
a lot.
playoffs? Like, he had his birthday, and then he fell off a cliff. Like, literally
Yeah,
the day
I
after his
remember
birthday.
that, yeah.
He just, something happened. He was like, oh, I'm really good. I am old now.
Hey guys, let me put up career numbers. And by the way, tomorrow's my birthday. You want to see me never play basketball again? Here you go.
Yep.
I still got Suns in 6.
I think Suns win.
I have the Suns also, but again, Kevin Durant has only played 6 games with them on the Suns. They've won all 6 of those. But it's only been 6
So
games.
Jeremy's saying the Suns at 4.
I am
Kevin
saying
Durant is never going to lose a game on the Suns.
I am
what you're
saying
telling
Suns
me-
in 7.
So what you're telling me is that the Clippers need to make sure that the Suns side of the court is a little slippery again.
Yes.
Kevin
Suns
Durant.
in 6.
Yeah, Suns and I'll give Suns in 6. Yeah.
I got Suns in 7. All right. We're just gonna do a finals matchup and then we'll move on. That took a little longer than I thought it
Sounds
would.
good.
What do you guys have?
I can go first.
Go for it,
Gotcha.
Shane.
So, what I really want to see is
This is gonna be a hot
the
take.
Milwaukee and Boston in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah,
That would be a really fun series to watch.
should happen.
But I think
Yeah.
I'll give it to Milwaukee, and out of the West,
Ooh, someone's gonna run to Philly though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
yeah. God, who do I want in the West?
That's a good question.
Let's go with
Someone you mean.
let's go with Denver, and we'll say Milwaukee wins it.
Well, no, the Celtics are gonna run into.
Isn't it?
It's
no,
it's
4-5,
yeah, it's
and then-
4-5
you're right,
versus
you're right,
1.
so it's Celtics.
It's gonna be Celtics
Yeah.
versus Sixers.
Okay.
I've said it. I said it like a month and a half ago or
You
something
did.
like that. And I'm sticking by it. Warriors 76ers. That's the finals. And I'm going to say Warriors will win in a game 7.
All right, what you got, Caleb?
All right, so just because I like a little bit of hot takes, and I think this could be a pretty fun matchup. I think that Boston and Memphis would be a very interesting matchup. Battle of the 2 seeds. I think they can make it. It just really depends on Ja Morant and Memphis, because
Mm-hmm.
if he's not playing how he had been playing, I'll put Warriors there. But because I think it's going to be a Warriors. Well, no, because Warriors and Memphis would be playing next.
So it's
It really depends on how Ja Morant plays, because
Mhm.
I think whoever wins that game is going to the finals,
Mhm.
going to the championship. They'll be there.
I'd agree with you with that.
It's either Memphis or Warriors. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of them.
I've got the Bucks playing the Suns.
I am shocked
Bucks playing
you have the
Suns.
Bucks over the 76ers.
I think the Celtics 76ers series is going to be so physical. Something's going to happen in that series, and they're not going to come out 100%. Meanwhile, the Bucks are going to have a relatively easier time at the top of that bracket, and then they're going to have to play a weekend, either Celtics or Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's going to make it a lot easier on them, which is my reasoning for them making it out of the East.
I'm just shocked.
Oh, and also I have whoever wins that game just winning the championship. I just realized I didn't say who I think was going to win.
Yeah.
So, Boston's losing, and either Warriors or Memphis is going to win. It just depends on who wins that game.
Watch the Warriors be completely healthy, like not get injured at all,
And then play like hot garbage.
and play like hot garbage, and then just lose in the first round,
Yeah.
go get swept, and I'm just on the next shot. I'm just like, hi guys.
Hey guys, yeah, it's me.
All right. That took a lot longer than I thought it
By
would,
the Warriors, I meant the Grizzlies.
but that's all right.
The Warrior Grizzlies, you know.
You want to talk a little Masters?
Yeah, let's talk the Masters.
And then we'll get to hockey.
Gotcha.
Tiger Woods dropped.
Go ahead.
Tiger Woods dropped at the last minute. He's getting older. In respect to him, he knew that he couldn't. He did qualify, for people who didn't know. He did qualify for the third round, but he dropped the last round. I mean, the third round
Yeah.
because of discomfort, and really unless he was given a cart, which for those who don't know is not allowed on the Masters. To put in perspective, I can't remember his name, but there was a player that literally had to take the PGA to court, and clearly the PGA doesn't run the Masters, but they had to take the PGA and like majors to court, and the court had to rule in favor of him under the Disabilities Act for him to be given a cart. No one is allowed a cart. So he dropped at the last minute. So we went into that. He wasn't really a top person. I think most people who know golf thought that the top people were going to be Rahm, Hovland, and Koepka. And going into round 3, Koepka was destroying everybody. Like, to put it in perspective, he was
destroying them after round 1.
Yeah, he was up 4 strokes at the end of round 3.
Yeah.
And it was like, everyone at the halfway point, because they did round 3 and round 4 on the same day, everyone was like, as long as he just plays equal, no one's going to catch him. It's like he just play a safe game. It doesn't matter. He ended up playing way too safe of the game. And he ended up losing by 4 points. And he actually ended up losing to Phil Mickelson, who got second. So, and Rahm ended up taking it home. Rahm had an absolutely incredible round 4, where he came back and won. And yeah, it was actually a lot of fun to watch. Masters is one of the few golf events that I watch each year. I've been trying to watch it a little bit more now, with Live now being available. And Rahm ended up winning. I think he won with his final was like -11, if I remember.
-12.
-12, yeah. And he's now tied with one other person as the only person from Spain, I believe, to win 2 different majors. And funny enough, both were U.S. Open and majors for both of them. So, and Masters. So, good job to Rahm. I wish Koepka could have brought it home because I like Koepka. But
Koepka got +3 in the final round.
Yeah.
He was 3 strokes over.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mickelson shot 7 under in the final round.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
With Mickelson?
Mickelson looked fantastic.
Mickelson, well, he was doing all right for the first 9.
Yeah.
He was doing all right. And then the last 9, which for those who don't know, for the Masters, is the hardest part of the course, is the last 9 of Augusta. Absolutely destroyed. I was watching it, and I was like, he got several birdies, and I was like, is he trying to make this interesting? Because he got from the front 9, he had like -3, -4, and he ended up finishing with -8.
-7.
-7? No, it was -8.
Total was -8.
Yeah, total was -8.
But in his round 4 alone, it's -7.
You're right. Yeah, total was -8. Round 4 was -7. You're right. He destroyed the back 9, and
entering the back 9, he was only at -2.
Yeah, he destroyed the back 9. I just kept on watching it, and I was like, why is he even trying? He's at -2. He's not gonna catch up to Koepka or Rahm, and he ended up beating Koepka.
Because he could make another $1 million if he finishes second.
And he'll bet all that away.
That's
Yeah, you will.
listen.
And then another guy that I said who was contender for was Hovland. Hovland did great coming out of round 3. If you actually look at the chart, he was like flat, and then he just skyrocketed up. And he was -8, I believe, going
Total?
into round 4.
Oh, entering round 4, -8.
He was -8, and then he finished, I think, -1 or -2.
-6.
-6, yeah. So
He tied for 7.
he tied for 7. Really good job for amateur player. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
His last name was Bennett. Those who don't know, there's always one amateur player in the Masters. They have to win the amateur championship to get to it. And
Sam
He was keeping
Sam
pace
Bennett.
in the first round, I remember.
in round 3, he was doing good. He was doing really good. Round 4, he started struggling, but
Exiting round 3, he was even.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he was doing.
So in
Good.
round 1, he shot 4 under.
Right, I remember that
2,
round
he
1.
was even. Round 4, he shot 4 over. And then in the final round, he shot 2 over.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all, though. That's like
So-
really
As an
good.
amateur?
Yeah, that's really
So
good.
round 3, he was playing in the last group with Kepka
And it was
Rom.
raining. Was it
And
raining?
It was raining
Yeah.
slightly. And he was doing well. I mean, he was playing with the last group of the 2 front runners. And that literally means, like, you were getting so much more media coverage because you're playing with them. And he clearly wasn't doing as well as them, but he was keeping pace, and he was doing really well.
Sam Bennett would finish at 16th.
Which was really unfortunate because if he had gotten 12th, he would have gotten an exemption, and he would have been able to return to the Masters next year.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he kept on playing for that, but he just couldn't do it.
You know
But
what's sad? Is if he had just shot even on the final round, he would have gotten 12th.
you want to hear something that's even more sad? Well, not more sad than that. Bennett had another tournament to play the following day.
Good for him.
Yeah, he had the Texas Tech tournament the very next day. So he literally had to, like, shake everyone's hand. Everyone was like, great job, man, great job. And he just booked it out of there
Go.
because he had to go.
Wow.
It would have been really cool if he had just gotten that exempt. That would have been really fun.
Yeah, but you can't make those, like, rulings, But
Right.
it was an awesome Masters. I was telling Jeremy about this. One great thing about the Masters is they let you watch what golfers you want to watch. They have done an awesome job with that. And, Masters is always just a lot of fun to watch. And it's also great because, we've seen this split between the PGA and LIV. And the LIV golfers really don't have a spot right now because they are out of rankings. They can't apply for Masters or any major unless they have exemption from it. And so it's really great to see them again all playing on the same thing. But yeah, it was really fun to watch. Yeah, that was the Masters.
Cool.
Nice.
We've reached the top of the hour. You want to do it?
I don't know it.
Come on, just read it right there.
We've reached the top of the hour. This is the Triple Threat Show. This is on WXJM Harrisonburg, Virginia, 88.7 on your FM dial, or WXJM.org. Am I right on that?
Yeah, you got the
Check
important
us out
stuff.
on YouTube at Triple Threat Show, Twitter at The Three Threat Show, and Twitch.tv at Never Gonna Happen.
And Instagram at Triple Threat Show.
Yeah.
What else did I miss?
No, you nailed it.
Yes.
I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus.
Oh, yeah. I'm your host. I'm Caleb. I'm always joined by my 3 friends and co-hosts. Of course.
Jeremy Lapidus.
Shane Brisland.
Jeremy Lapidus.
Oh, he's here twice. He's so
You just-
masterful that he has duplicated.
You
Oh, I
just
thought
hear-
there was just an echo in the room.
Oh,
you just hear like him run around the desk and like, get to the chair.
Just hit every single
like,
microphone.
It's going like
I'm joined by my
three
6 friends and co-hosts.
I'm joined
Jeremy
by
Lapidus. Jeremy Lapidus. Jeremy Lapidus.
yeah. You just hear. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus, and I'm joined by my 3 friends and co-hosts. And then Jeremy Lapidus. Jeremy Lapidus. Jeremy Lapidus.
The room's not that big, guys.
Oh my god. Jeremy, would you pass me your water, please?
Thank you, Jeremy.
Jeremy. Woo! Okay, we have a great show for you guys tonight.
Shane, how much
Anyway,
hockey news
Shane,
do you have?
there's a lot of hockey.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot
All
of
right, I want
hockey.
to touch on 2 things real quickly.
Sure.
They're both NASCAR because I love NASCAR.
NASCAR.
So, this week, Rick Ware has found himself in another bit of trouble after his second son found a way to also get indefinitely suspended from NASCAR. Carson Ware, 2 years ago, was indefinitely suspended by NASCAR for assault. This past week, Cody Ware was arrested on felony charges for assault. And then, but in much happier news, if you are a NASCAR fan, Chase Elliott, after his broken leg injury, will be returning this weekend to drive the 9 car at Martinsville, Virginia. So that's always big fun news. We love when the stars come back, but when the field fillers get arrested for felony assault, it's kind of interesting.
It just.
Oh
my God.
Both of his sons have been arrested for
sons.
assault. That's Rick Ware Racing for you.
That's
Yeah,
just horrible.
Yeah, no, it's really sad. It's really sad. So both Carson and Cody Ware have been arrested for it.
Oh my God.
I won't say anything on the matter.
Yeah, I don't think we should say anything.
I'm just leaving it at the facts. They were arrested for assault. That's all I'm leaving it at. NASCAR indefinitely suspended them for violating the policy. I forget what section it is. I'm not going to.
The policy of being a good human being.
Exactly. And then NASCAR superstar, of course, face of NASCAR, Chase Elliott's returning. So that's always good. I like the 9 car. I like Chase. He's a nice guy. Dawsonville, Georgia. Great place.
All right.
All right,
with
Shane.
that, we're on
I
to
understand
hockey.
there's a lot of hockey to cover. This season is wrapping up.
Rapidly.
There's what, 1 or 2 games left for everybody?
Yeah, so before we get into like the playoff implications for today, I kind of want to list off some records being broken, because end of the season, people are racking up the points, they're reaching those milestones, and there was a lot of them met. First off, the Boston Bruins officially have the best record ever in NHL history.
And the most points ever.
Best record.
Well, no, they didn't have that. They got the most wins, and then they got the most points.
Yeah, so you have the most points if you have the best record.
Well, no. Because they had the most wins after they beat the Flyers, and then once they beat the Caps, they had the most points.
They had, the most points.
It was a different
as
thing.
a team.
Because probably you get a point for ties. It was a different thing.
Gotcha. Well, same.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Best
Yes.
regular season
Ever.
in NHL history with 63 wins.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad.
So they did this off the back of being the best defensive team in the league. They have the lowest goals against per game. They just have a really good team all around. And then David Pastrnak has had one heck of a season. He was in a contract year. The man got absolutely paid with a $100 million contract.
Which is, by the way, massive for hockey.
Yeah.
It's not like your NFL deals where you're just kind of like, oh, this no-name player just got paid $100 million over 4 years. So
yeah. So congrats. He also has a 60-goal season. I want to highlight that.
madness.
And he has his first 100-point season in his career this season. And he's like 50 points ahead of his next closest teammate. So,
Well, it helps when you score 60 goals.
yeah. So congrats to the Boston Bruins for that. Hopefully, we'll see if they can break the President's Trophy curse. And then, speaking of scoring a lot of points, Connor McDavid. Again, this man can do anything. He is the sixth player in NHL history to achieve 150 points in a season. He is the
Gosh.
first player to do this since Mario Lemieux in the 95-96 season.
Gosh.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So we've been, like I've said before, it's been the lowest scoring era in NHL, and it looks like it's picking right back up again. We have a lot more 100-point scores this season, so I'm looking forward to the future because it's going to be a lot more scoring and a lot more entertaining.
There were 5 100-point scorers in a game last night. It was Oilers versus someone. I don't remember, but there were 5 of them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
5.
Probably Draisaitl.
It was Draisaitl, McDavid,
Oh, Nugent Hopkins that got 100 points. I did not see that coming.
and then there were 2 on the other team. And I don't remember what the other team was. That's on me.
Yeah. And then, Erik Karlsson also reached the 100-point mark.
Might have been the Sharks.
Huh?
Might have been the Sharks.
Who else?
I don't know.
Well, that's 4, which is really important. And Erik Karlsson, what's impressive about him, he's a defenseman. They don't typically score a lot of points, but he reached an 100-point season, and this is the first time a defenseman has done this since the 91-92 season by Brian Leach. So it should be given that he's going to win the Best Defenseman award.
Is he?
But yes, but his biggest harp is he's a -21 on the season, which is a lot better than I thought it would be. But it's just this constant debate.
Hold on. This man has 100 points,
Yeah,
but he's given up 121. And he's a defenseman.
yeah. But the Sharks are also a pretty bad team.
I understand the Sharks are a bad team, but it's a defenseman award.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But you get
I'm
a lot
glad
of-
we've established
Yeah.
this.
It's a really
Erik
weird...
Karlsson.
It's a really weird situation because hockey's like the only sport where like, well, I guess except I don't know much about basketball, but where like a defensive player can like rack up a bunch of points, even though they're supposed to be like more defensively responsible.
So wait, who was playing the other night and there was 5?
It was the Oilers versus someone. I don't remember who they were playing. Go look at the Oilers schedule. Who did they play?
I would just look up points leaders and see who's on the same team with 100 points.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking at that. So
Keep going, Shane.
we have
What's next?
Matt Kinnon.
Sorry, McKinnon, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another duo with 100 points that I can think of off the top of my head. So it may have been just 4 players with...
No, it was 5. I know it was 5.
It had to be. So of course there's the trio.
For the Oilers, yeah.
Yeah, and then it has to be either nope. It just has to be COL.
It was against the Avalanche.
So it just has to be the Avalanche. So it has to.
It was
be,
the Avalanche.
Oh, Mikko Rantanen, that's it. So it's McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, the interesting part about McKinnon, he's only going to be playing 70 games this season. So if he had 10 more games, he was on pace to be second in the league in scoring, behind Connor McDavid, of course. Anyway, going back to Erik Karlsson, so him getting 100 points and being like a minus 21 on the season for like on ice goal differential, I want to compare it to, it's like Trayvon Diggs, where he gets a lot of interceptions, and let's say he got a bunch of pick sixes that season, but he also gave up a ton of touchdowns. He won Defensive Player of the Year.
Never, ever give Defensive Player of the Year to Trayvon Diggs. And I understand he's good.
I'm just thinking that's kind of the only comparable I can come
It's
up
a good.
with.
It's a
a
very.
very good
You
comparison.
nailed that comparison. That was
Gotcha.
like spot on.
It, like actually.
That was like
nailed
perfect. I would never, ever do that because the point of a defensive award is to be defensive.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand scoring is great.
Where's the Sauce Gardner?
Right. There's
Where's your
a better
lockdown
there's a better
corner
defenseman out there. You know.
Yeah. The problem is, though, I would say...
And I understand he deserves to win. I do. Like, I would vote for him in hockey. But, like, I think there should be another... I think someone else should
The
win.
problem is that like it favors players who've played a full season.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like Charlie McAvoy, I would say he's the best all-around defenseman in the league, not named Cale Makar. Cale Makar has had injury issues also this entire season. And it's just... I don't watch the Jets too much, but Josh Morrissey has had a good season too. And it's just like it favors the offensive defenseman, which is it's a oxymoron of a position,
Right,
because they're paid to quarterback the power play and get a ton of points, and they don't have to be as defensively responsible because they're expected to contribute offense.
Right, and that's completely fine. I understand the award works differently in every sport.
Yeah.
And that's how it works in hockey. And going by that, I think he absolutely deserves to win. But at the same time, when you're playing defense, it's okay to be in the minus. But when you're playing defense, you put up 100+ points and you're in the minus, I think you've done something wrong.
It's just the Sharks are a really bad team.
Yeah.
So you're going to be on the ice for more goals against. And
Yeah.
the award is deceptive in the way it's worded because it says the best all-around defenseman.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it gets skewed towards the defenseman who just gets a ton of points.
No, that's how it is always.
Yeah. So, but I wish they took into... it's kind of hard to back up a defenseman, especially in ice hockey, with stats. Because all the stats you track in hockey are just points and block shots and hitting. Like defensemen, they don't like keep track of like the stick checks or like.
There's got to be some kind of advanced metric for that,
Yeah.
though. There's
But-
got to be.
Yeah, but just none that I'm aware of to like really look into it.
All right.
And then Sidney Crosby also reached 1,500 career points.
There were. That's awesome for him.
Yeah. 15th in scoring in NHL history.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's very good. He's very good at hockey. There were two people, and I don't mean to take this off Sidney Crosby when you said that. There were two guys that hit 1,000 career points on the same night. It was Pavelski and someone else.
Claude Giroux.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, congrats to those guys too. Fun players to watch these past decade. Old vets by now, and hopefully they can get a cup at some point, but we'll see. But anyway, back to Sidney Crosby. Again, one of the best players these past almost 2 decades. And like coming into the league, he was hyped up to be this great phenom. He's lived up to every bit of it. Where do you think Crosby sits in, ranking-wise on your top NHL players all time?
Sidney Crosby?
Yeah, so it's like top 5, top 10, top 3. Where do you think he lies?
I hope you don't expect me to go that far back in NHL history, Shane, because I can't go past this modern era aside from Giroux and Lemieux.
Gotcha.
Sorry, not Gretzky and Lemieux.
Yeah.
So those two.
Giroux and
It rhymes. That's why I thought it. Outside of those two, I cannot give you an accurate list of placement of anybody else before like 2000, really.
Gotcha.
So based on that, he's top 5 for me. But I also have not gone back in the annals of hockey history and,
So
looked at it.
Wait.
The what?
Wait. Hold on a minute.
The what?
The what?
The huh?
I mean, we can actually go back.
I mean,
because you're live streaming right now.
Yes, I am.
According to
You heard me.
the definition,
I nailed that.
he did use it correctly.
I nailed that, okay?
Okay,
Two
say it
ends.
again,
2
though.
ends.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 ends?
If you go back in the annals of hockey history, I could not tell you
I
accurately
think it's
where to
annals.
list. No.
Okay. However you want to pronounce it.
So, Jeremy, could you say again what?
But just like
just
slow.
slow it down, while also saying the the idea of the show.
Anyway. Sorry. No, he's definitely top 10 all time.
Yeah.
I can say that confidently. He's probably top 5, honestly. He probably is.
Yeah, because
He's definitely
in
top
my
10,
opinion,
but I can't say with
he's-
any confidence outside of top 10.
in my opinion, he is top 5 all time. So I think, of course, you've got, in terms of eras, he's put up these numbers, again, as I said, in the lowest scoring era of NHL history. And the fact that he got to 1,500 points, he has his 3 Stanley Cups, and he's got the Olympic gold medals on top of that.
Oh, Bobby Orr too. I could
Yeah.
rank him.
I think he's definitely go down as top 5, especially if you go era by era.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think in terms of being one of the most dominant players
Are
of his
you
era,
are
I
you
think he's top 5.
including goalies in this?
No, I'm not including goalies.
Okay,
That
because
would
that's a
just
completely
further-
different
that would make things
conversation.
a lot more complicated.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
in terms
Like,
of players, top 5.
I wanted to make sure you're doing that because I
Yeah.
was like, I could probably do this with
Are you
goalies.
saying that goalies aren't players?
It's
It's its
its
own
own category. You cannot compare
Yeah.
them. You can't compare Carey Price
Complete
with Sidney Crosby.
Opposite jobs.
You can't do
I'm just
that.
saying, you gotta give the goalies some respect.
No.
Goalies
yeah.
are players.
You have to, yes, but you cannot.
just
You can
so
if you're
different.
ranking players all time, you cannot say Carey Price definitely
It's
better
like trying
than
to compare Tom Brady to Ray Lewis.
you can.
can
You can.
But it's just like, but they're
It's real tough to
completely
do.
like, who's a better football player, Tom Brady or
Football player?
Football player. There's no
Ray
football
Lewis.
player. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the
Oh,
greatest of
no.
all time.
Oh no.
But you get what I
Skill-wise, Ray
mean.
Lewis.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
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 But-
Like if
but
you
player.
asked like
But you
Ray
said
Lewis,
player.
if
you
you
said player.
Okay.
You said player.
Okay.
Not skilled player.
Okay.
Player.
Okay.
Player, not even.
That's the difference between goalie and anything else. Skill
Okay.
player versus player.
Yeah.
There you go.
And just get Shaquille O'Neal in the goal, and then just no one will ever score. because
Exactly.
He's so big.
Yep.
Is there like a
Just get a sumo wrestler. Have you guys
We've
ever
already
seen
had
that?
this.
list us?
We've already had
Nope.
this discussion.
We've had this
before.
discussion like 10 times though.
Yeah.
Sumo.
Why don't teams do that?
We've already had this conversation.
They're not athletic
I don't
enough.
I don't want to have this conversation again.
Anyway,
So speaking about Sidney Crosby, his team is currently on the outside looking in for the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. If the Islanders win against the Montreal Canadiens tonight, and the Montreal Canadiens are a really bad team this year, if the Islanders win or go to overtime, then the Penguins get eliminated from the playoffs contention. And that will end the longest active playoff streak in the 4 major sports, because the Pittsburgh Penguins have been in the playoffs for the past 17 years. So, I am rooting for the Islanders tonight.
There it is.
Yeah. As a lifelong Penguin hater, I just
Now listen,
really want to see this
I
team.
like
I think
some Penguins.
it's also nice to. I feel like it's like, you know how the Caps and the Penguins are so intertwined these past few years. I think it's poetic that they both missed the playoffs at the same time. Like, the streak comes to an end at the same time the Capitals also miss.
I like some Penguins. Penguins are cute.
They sure are, Caleb.
And then just the awkward silence that comes after me saying Penguins are cute.
They are cute, yeah.
yeah.
So do you think the Islanders win tonight?
Oh, I think they win. I
Yep.
I don't think there's a question. I don't think Pittsburgh makes it in. I think it's over.
And then if the Islanders do happen to lose in regulation, the Penguins would have to win, just have to win the game in general, overtime, whatever, in order to make playoffs. And I can't remember who they're facing on Thursday.
It doesn't. It matters.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if the Islanders go to overtime or win.
Right. But don't they both have
Oh, they're
another
going
game?
against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Don't they both have another game after that, though?
No, these are the last games.
Okay.
So, I mean, Columbus, the motivation to be the playoff spoiler, so it probably won't be an easy game.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for Pittsburgh, though.
No, but Islanders win the tiebreaker.
No. But it's the same thing for Montreal, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Montreal also has playoff spoiler.
Yeah.
Why not, right? Get that little extra bonus check for you.
But it's just like they just have to make it to overtime at the very least, and then they clinch playoffs.
It's tough to do.
Yeah. But rather that than be the Penguins and having another team with their destiny in your hands.
Absolutely.
So since this is the end of the Capitals, I feel like this is the signaling of the end of the Crosby Ovechkin era. They're both missed playoffs, both of the teams are on the decline, and it's just where do the Caps and Pens go from here? And it's will they rebound next season? And if they do, which team do you think can rebound quicker?
The Penguins.
What makes you say that?
Because the Capitals are stuck with their aging core.
So are the Penguins.
They've put a lot of money into it. I know the Penguins have too, but the Penguins have a better farm system.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do.
Can you name me a prospect on the Penguins?
I couldn't name a single prospect on any team, Shane.
So how can you say that if you don't know the farm? Come on. They have a better farm system. I don't know anything about either team's farm systems, but they have a better farm system.
They got a better farm system.
Oh my god.
They're a better run team. They are.
They have a better coach, yeah.
They have a better coach. They have their management is better set up for success. Sidney Crosby also, he's old, but he is better for building around, even in his old age, than Ovechkin is. Ovechkin can score. He can score with the best of them still. But you can't. It's harder to build around a scorer than it is to build around a guy like Sidney Crosby that can still do it all, which is why they're in a better position. I just think when you look at these rosters that the Penguins are still closer than the Caps. They're both gonna go through stretches of bad, but I think they might have a little tiny leg up.
Yep. I think if we want to talk about who's more likely to make playoffs next season or 2 seasons from now, I will say I would agree with you, the Penguins. But in terms of a rebuild, the Capitals have the better farm system.
You can't predict a rebuild. You really can't, especially with the state that both of these teams are in.
I will say if we're gonna debate which team is closer to, which team's gonna be closer to contending at some point, I'm going to say the Caps because they've kind of already started the retool process, and they already have some prospects in the pipeline that can come up.
They have not tried.
No, because they have this, who's that Russian kid's name?
Alexei Protas?
No. It was our most recent first-round pick. It's like Miroshchenko or something like that. So he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick, right? But because with it's complicated with the Russian player situations, and the guy got cancer, so he fell in the draft, and then the Capitals drafted him. And then they have like McMichael, they have Lapierre, some like exciting young prospects in the system, and I can't name a guy like that for Pittsburgh.
We've seen McMichael and Lapierre already up at the NHL, and they're nothing.
It takes time to develop prospects. I'm not saying they're going to be elite superstar players, but at least they have some young blood in the system where the Penguins just don't.
There's no one in the Cap system that really inspires me. And I can't say anything about the Penguin system, but I bet you if I looked a little bit, I could find someone. Penguins have a knack for drafting
away all
people.
Of their picks, and they just have no one in the pipeline besides, I think they drafted a guy named like Pickering or something who's, just your average middle first-round pick. Who knows what that's going to turn into. But, like, off the top of my head, like, I know the Capitals have more well-known prospects. And then, the Penguins have traded away all their picks and prospects these past few years to try to contend. And at least the Capitals have been trying to bring in young people. And then, who knows what happens with this draft lottery, but at least they'll have a higher first-round pick this year in a really stacked forward class.
We'll see. I hate predicting rebuilds, especially before they start, because all it takes is one guy. All it takes is one guy, you hit on him, you're miles ahead of the other team. Really. You're telling me that if the Capitals drafted someone else instead of Alex Ovechkin, they'd be where they are today? It doesn't matter. They're not here. They had bevies of talent, but they're not where they are today without Ovechkin. Same thing with the Penguins. If they chose someone else over Sidney Crosby, it doesn't matter. The team that got Sidney Crosby is going to be way ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins. It only takes one. And I know that both of those guys went like one in their draft.
Well, yeah, that's if you win the draft lottery and you have a generation.
Right, but you can get these guys. It's not just the number one. You can get these guys in the top 10. You can get these guys in the top 5. You don't have to win it. Sure, Ovechkin and Crosby, surefire. We knew that, right? But you can go get these franchise-changing guys in the top 10. We've seen it plenty of times.
Well, it's just like not one guy is going to change your franchise.
Right, but it's going to put you in a much better position to compete.
As much as how good McDavid is, he still needs Leon Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins.
Oh, absolutely.
And like all the other support system around him.
He needs a goalie.
Just take one guy.
Yeah, but look, if you hit on the guy, it makes you so much closer to competing.
Of course.
And that's what I'm saying. I hate predicting a rebuild because you don't know how the lottery's going to go. You don't know how the prospects are going to turn out.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible to predict a rebuild, especially before it starts. Especially before you sell off 100%. Both of these teams are looking into the eyes of an inevitable rebuild, and it hasn't started yet. So I'm not ready to say that one of these teams is going to be better sooner because we can't say that. We don't know what's going to happen.
I will say, in terms of asset management, I would say I like how the Caps are trying to get younger and at least are trying to get some young prospects into the system, where the Penguins have just doubled down and just traded away all their prospects for players who are good now. The problem is they have a bunch of expiring contracts. They have a really bad cap situation. At least the Caps have a little bit more flexibility with their LTIR, and they have some prospects where they could use for trade value purposes.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have more for hockey?
That was kind of like the only debate I wanted to have about whether who has the better short-term future.
All right. Before we head out, a couple things, major news from the NFL. Firstly, coming out today, this wasn't like major. This was known for a while. Saquon was not going to sign his franchise tag. Came out today that he officially is not going to sign his franchise tag. This is nothing new. No one that is in the Giants community was shocked or that paid attention. This
I
was,
don't pay attention to the New Jersey Giants, Joey.
yeah, I know. But none of this was going to happen. It just, national headline came out today. This was going to happen. It was reported day of the franchise tag being put on Saquon. He was not happy. He wasn't going to sign it. Oh well. They'll work something out. He'll play this season. I'm not too concerned. That's
It's opening. It's the start of the regular season. Saquon Barkley still has not returned to the Giants facility.
We've seen how that works out before with running backs with Le'Veon Bell.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. You can't hold out as a running back.
I think that it's a little different between Le'Veon Bell and
I don't.
Saquon. You think that if Saquon held out that he'd be done in the league?
Do you know? No. Le'Veon Bell was not done in the league. He came back. He signed a 3-year deal with the Jets, and then he sucked. I understand. If you,
Hey.
you know how good Le'Veon Bell was playing before he held out.
Boxing. He has a YouTube.
Oh, he
boxing
does.
match
Yeah,
this
right.
month, so I
Right.
don't know what you mean by he's not. doing
Right, a
well.
YouTube boxing match.
Yeah, exactly. A YouTube boxing match, bigger than the NFL.
Right. Anyway, I'm not too worried about Saquon. He'll come back.
Especially since he already has injury history as a running back, too.
Mm-hmm.
And they already have a short shelf life already.
Let's say quad.
I love Saquon. I love him so much. I'm not concerned at all. He'll play the season. They'll work something out. Other big piece of NFL news. Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson recruits him. What does this mean? $15 million guaranteed, up to 18 with incentive. Does this...
Did you see the exact breakdown of it?
I didn't see the exact breakdown.
It's like $13.6 million is all signing bonus, and then his salary is like $1.1 million.
Great.
It's hilarious.
Fantastic deal.
It's a really good deal for Odell, yeah.
Odell just got a $15 million, like nearly $14 million check.
just for
Odell...
signing a piece of paper.
Odell has come to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson and him and Lamar were on Lamar's Instagram together. So Lamar recruited him. Does this entice Lamar to come back to Baltimore? Does this entice him to come back to the negotiation table or sign that non-exclusive franchise tag?
Well, let's be completely honest. First of all, he recruited Odell Beckham Jr. during the season.
Yes.
It was not when he signed.
But they also were hanging out together after he signed.
Well, yeah, but you also should note is that Odell Beckham Jr. had a meeting which was likely to result in the signing of him that same night with the Jets.
Yep.
And the Ravens in like the final hour before that meeting were like, "Hey Odell, how does 18 million potential sound?" And he's like, I'm listening.
I'm in.
I mean, for those who don't know, Odell literally had been holding out for a while with teams because he was saying, my price tag is $20 million a year. And the Ravens essentially were like, okay. So, I think that this guarantees Lamar back, if I'm being completely honest. Not because it's a good wide receiver option. Odell Beckham Jr. should not be your wide receiver one. I think we can all agree with that. Right? But, I mean, that pretty much is a wrap for that because they got the guy that he wanted. So.
In some other news, the Louisiana Lafayette wide receiver, Michael Jefferson, was involved in a fatal car accident. He is fine. The driver of the other vehicle is since passed away. That happened Sunday night, and so that just leads to another string of NFL players not being safe while they drive. That's a whole other issue for a whole other day. But needless to say, I do not believe Michael Jefferson will be drafted in late April by an NFL team.
What was he projected to do?
Like day 3, late day 2.
He was like a 4th, 5th.
Mm.
He's one of those wide receivers that had upside,
Mm.
but now he has no upside because
He's going to jail.
he'll probably land himself in prison after striking a 2019 Chevy Impala.
Well, that's how we're going to end our show, I guess.
I
Thank
was
you.
going to do it a little bit sooner, but you guys were just talking. And I was
Yeah,
like,
we
this is important news. So.
All right. Cool. Anyway. Thank
Rough
you.
And tumble.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Actually, you want to do this, Shane?
Shane,
You know,
I'm
everyone
leaving
else
you.
is gone.
God.
Go for
Shane,
it.
I'm leaving you. This is the
This
anti-Jeremy
has been the
show.
Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 FM Harrisonburg and WXJM.org. My name is Shane Brislin, joined by my 3 friends and co-hosts.
Jeremy Lapidus.
Caleb.
And Shane Brislin.
Thank you for listening. Please follow
Peter
us
Keglin.
on YouTube at the Triple Threat Show, on Twitter at the 3 Threat Show, and on Instagram at the Triple Threat Show. That has been our show. Thank you and good night.
Dun, dun,